Today we're checking out Memphis, Elvis Presley. So it's time to ditch the frigid weather of Michigan and head to Memphis. Today's vlog is about Elvis Presley. I'm here in Memphis atop the Peabody Hotel, the infamous Peabody Hotel, built in 1869 and rebuilt on this location in 1925. This hotel is legendary in Memphis, but nothing is more legendary in Memphis than the king of rock and roll. So before we start talking about the king, a couple things you need to know about the Peabody. Many sitting presidents have stayed here, as have some of my favorite musicians, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Bon Jovi stayed here, Abbott and Costello stayed here. The list of luminaries staying at this Peabody Hotel is legendary. None more legendary than the ducks of the Peabody. Another reason the Peabody is famous is for these 5 Peabody ducks. Every day at 11 a.m. they go down the elevator, walk across the red carpet into the lobby fountain where they sit until 5 o'clock and then they come back up. They've been doing this since the 1930s and it really draws a crowd.
Having just left their penthouse on the plantation roof to join me. Ladies and gentlemen, the march of the world famous Peabody Ducks.
Whether you stay here or not, you need to come and check out the Peabody because there's so much history here. One of my favorite pieces of history here at the Peabody is that Elvis Presley signed his contract with RCA in the lobby of this hotel. Whether you're an Elvis fan or not, virtually every artist in the last 50 years has been inspired by the king of rock and roll. From Toby Keith to Kiss to Bruce Springsteen, Carrie Underwood, you name it. Most musicians who've made music in the last 40 years have been inspired by King Elvis Presley. So without further ado, what do you say we go down to Sun Records and see where it all started? Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, and Jerry Lee Lewis all recorded here at Sun Records, but it was 1954 when Elvis Presley walked in this building to record a record for Sam Phillips that made this place famous. This is where Elvis started. Let's go take a look.
And Sam, at the time, is working at a local pop and easy listening radio station called WREC, broadcasting out of the Peabody Hotel in downtown Memphis. And this would be the perfect job for Sam, except for a small detail, and that is that Sam hated pop and easy listening music. So his passion was fully for the blues, okay? Which was being made right here in Memphis, down, on Beale Street. But at the time, no one was really recording blues artists because of racial reasons. And so Sam did what he felt like he needed to do. He quit his job and he opened up his very own studio right here at 706 Union Avenue. And he starts operating under the slogan, "We record anything, anywhere, anytime." And that's exactly what he does. So he takes around these portable recording devices and basically starts recording anything he can get his hands on. We're talking weddings, funerals, birthday parties, beauty pageants, commercials. Sam, like I said, was very interested in the blues, and when Elvis came in for the first time, he was singing, ballads, pop ballads, and Sam just really wasn't interested in that. At the time, he didn't want, this ballad singer, really. But Elvis was very persistent. He kind of knew what he wanted, and so he stuck around, and he kept bugging Sam for an entire year, until finally they needed a lead singer for this band that they were going to form. And Maria Marconi really was the one who fell in love with Elvis's voice, and she really pushed to have him audition for the band. And so that is what finally brings Elvis in and gets him that real audition with Sam. He comes in for his audition, he's very nervous. He's like 19 years old. And he's he keeps singing what he thinks Sam wants, which is pop ballads and slow country songs. And Sam kind of gets frustrated, and he's like, "Go take a break." And back then, if they meant go take a break, it was like, we're almost done. And Elvis knew that. And so he starts getting nervous, and he's like running around the studio. And he just thinks of a song from his childhood, and it's an old blues song by Arthur Big Boy Crudup. And it's called That's Alright. And, you know, Sam, he was a blues lover, right? So it was the perfect song to choose. And Sam instantly is like, oh, this is what I wanted, you know. And they made him do it louder and faster, and they got it down, and Sam, that won him over. You know, he knew that was going to be the one. He ran it down that night to his really good friend DJ Dewey Phillips. So he ran the radio station that Sam would give a lot of his music to, and he had a really popular radio show called Red Hot and Blue. And 3 days later, he aired it for the first time. And Dewey was a very, very picky person with his music, but he actually really liked this one. So he ended up playing it 14 times that night. And Elvis kind of became an overnight success in that way. But people forget that it did take him a whole year, you know, just to even get that chance. Sam, you know, a lot of people say that it's a mistake that he sold his contract for $35,000 because we all know that Elvis is worth a lot more than that. But, you know, Sam, till the day he died, he claimed that it was the best business decision he ever made. Because he knew that at the time he was in a lot of debt, and he didn't have the funds to provide what Elvis needed to really just hit, you know, international, you know, ears. And so he knew that if he sold his, you know, contract, that he would not only benefit, you know, becoming the huge star that he was, but he would also gain money to bring in other artists, because that's what Sam was. He was a developer of artists, and so he knew that, you know, he could only do that with money, and he was really bad in debt, and so he knew that this was his chance. We love Graceland. We love that people love it, you know. It's awesome if you're an Elvis lover. This place obviously, you know, has a special place in our hearts for Elvis as well, just because this is where he really got his chance. So Graceland is more for like after his success, right? Like after he has, you know, all the fame and money and can build a beautiful mansion. But this is like his roots, where he, you know, started, where he was nervous, where he was young and, you know, not knowing what to do. And Sam really developed him into the artist that he was and gave him the chance that he never thought he could have, being from such humble beginnings.
The world was captivated and enamored by Elvis Presley. As a catalyst for the cultural revolution that was rock and roll, he was central to not only defining it as a musical genre, but in making it a touchstone of youth culture and rebellion. John Lennon once said, quote, "Before Elvis, there was nothing." Lennon also said that nothing really affected me until I heard Elvis. If there hadn't been an Elvis, there wouldn't have been the Beatles. Presley was also known for a life of luxury and excess, as exemplified by his estate at Graceland. In March of 1957, Presley purchased Graceland and its 13.8 acres for just over $100,000. Measuring at 17,000 square feet, Graceland boasts a total of 23 rooms, including 8 bedrooms. Elvis also loved his toys. The Graceland grounds include an exhibit complex, which includes a new car museum, Presley Motors, which houses Elvis's pink Cadillac. In the 1960s, there were even more Cadillacs, Ford Lincolns, and a Rolls-Royce, among many others. In the 1970s, it was said that the 1973 Stutz Black Hawk III was Elvis's favorite car. But he also had a Mercedes-Benz and a Ford T-Bird. The Graceland complex also features his 2 planes, the Lisa Marie and the Hound Dog II. In May of 2016, Graceland welcomed its 20 millionth visitor. Lisa Marie Presley, who inherited the estate in 1993, often goes back to Graceland for visits. Now, I'm not saying the music of Elvis Presley is the best stuff that's ever been put out there. Make no mistake, it's still great music. What I am saying is, Elvis Presley is the king of rock and roll, because without his music, the music put out in the last 60 years wouldn't have been nearly as good. I want to thank Memphis for their hospitality. I want to thank the folks at Peabody for making our stay here very pleasurable. If you get a chance to get to Memphis, make sure you see Sun Records, Graceland. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click that bell icon to make sure you're notified when I release future videos. And as always, you can check out more of my work at ronrobinsonstudios.com. Until next time, I'm walking in Memphis, 10 feet off a beat.
Sam would take his recordings to be aired on the radio for the first time by Dewey. And to put it politely, Dewey was absolutely insane. This guy would say anything and everything on air. If you were a cool kid listening in the 50s, you know, to the radio, you wanted to be on his station. But if you were a cool parent in the 50s, you weren't letting your kids listen to his show. He would air songs for the first time, him never having heard them before. And if he liked them, he would try to sing along to them on air into the microphone. But if he didn't like your song, he'd stop it, drag it across the needle, smash it over the mic, and throw the pieces on the floor so no one ever had to listen to it again. This isn't a recreation of his booth either. This is his actual DJ booth, rescued out of the Chiska Hotel in downtown Memphis.
You ready to duck on out of here? Get it? Duck on out of here? That's for you, Ken Heron. Get better soon, buddy.